Vote buying Jamaica. The same thing that the PNP is accusing the Jamaica Labour Party of. You know, one of the oldest tricks in the book is to accuse your enemy of the things that you're doing. So it can be confusing. And this is the same thing that the PNP is trying to do to the Jamaican populace. But then we have evidence. We have, PNP, especially like Lisa Hanna, came out and literally blatantly said that this faction of the PNP that is now ruling the PNP, the Risers PNP, came into our, constituency and gave out $10,000 envelopes in relation to buying vote. Have a listen, Jamaica.
President, there are some stunning claims from the Dr. Peter Phillips-led camp that agents working for Peter Bunting and his Rise United camp are buying votes for $10,000. Dr. Phillips' one PNP camp discussed the concerns during a press conference at the Jamaica Pegasus Hotel in Kingston a short while ago. Our reporter Dwayne Anderson is at the Jamaica Pegasus. We now join him live for the very latest. Dwayne?
Thank you, Herb.
I can say with certainty and clarity and evidence that even in my constituency, up to yesterday morning at 8 a.m., a leader of the Rise team was there offering and giving and issuing envelopes containing $10,000. And every time he went to a delegate and left the envelope and drove off, I was called. And so for us, we want to make sure that our party is kept intact after this election.
So we're here at the Jamaica Pegasus in Kingston. I'm joined by the Vice President of the People's National Party, Damien Crawford, and the Treasurer of the PNP, Lisa Hanna. Ms. Hanna, I'll start with you first because you made some comments earlier about happenings in the party leading up to this delegates vote on Saturday that you're not particularly happy with, concerns the use of money. What exactly is your concern?
Well, to say that I'm not happy would be an overstatement. And one of the reasons for us having this press conference today was to speak about and give the nation and certainly our delegates an update with 3 days to go on where we are in our campaign, and we are very, very confident of victory on September 7. It's clear that the other side have been using some tactics to try and implore delegates financially. And as soon as they go to the delegates and members of the other team's leadership, the delegates call many of us in one PNP and say, look, they're being induced to vote for the other side. They don't like it. And certainly the tenets and philosophies that we believe in as a party don't subscribe to that kind of value system in our political movement.
You mentioned the philosophy of the party. The PNP often positions itself as the soul of Jamaica's democracy in terms of the use of funds in election campaigning. Mr. Crawford, what kind of message do you believe this sends to the wider public about what's happening in the party when they hear about the use of money in this delegates race?
Well, firstly, it depreciates our ability to go out there and to campaign against this, but it also now depreciates people's confidence that we are for a particular group of people in the main.
You see, Jamaica, and this section of the PNP, the Risers PNP, are the one that took over the party. And here they are talking about, vote buying and voters suppression, so to speak. When this faction keep them little press conference, and they were saying that them could use KFC to get the people them vote. So them could buy vote with KFC. Can you imagine? These lower down dirty shame, acting as if they have the key of morality and them can set standard when they themselves are the ones who are out here getting vote for money. And we have seen it and heard it on social media. Persons confessing, stating that these PNP candidates gave them money to, either stay home or vote for them. It's on social media. You guys can read it. So I don't know, if these hypocritical, two-mouth cutlass, inverted mind persons really coming out here, talking about vote buying And we all know they're just losers. And losers always make up excuse instead of basically see their errors and correct their errors. But here it is, Jamaica. What this young man said, PNP, I buy vote with KFC.
To the people. We'll find a way in every nook and cranny and we'll go to them for the votes. We will buy the votes if we need to buy it. I believe you go in the constituency, play some music, boil some soup or some curry goat or something, and use that and get the people them to come. And when them come now, you hold them with the food, with the KFC or whatever, right? Because that is how you get to engage them.
1 second, sorry. Because we could do that. How many meetings there?
We had about 40 meetings.
40 meetings. You would have the same result, even if you gave them KFC. Sorry, how are you get this?
So can you imagine, Jamaica? Imagine the PNP want people to vote for them for KFC and now come here with them blabbermouth talking about voting irregularities. You see, you can't trust these persons. These persons is like the mark of the beast in Revelation. Them dangerous. Especially the Dayton Campbell and the Mark Golden. They are the worst thing that ever happened to our politics in the name of democracy. God, they themselves, especially Dayton Campbell, he works on the EOJ board. And the EOJ basically came out and said there was no irregularities. PNP work on that board. So why they take it onto themselves, trying to make the whole electoral process seems, corrupt or manipulated? The mere fact is they lost the election, so they are just sore losers. As I said, winners find a way to win and losers find a way to explain or complain why they lose. And this is what they are. And trust me, with this state of mind, PNP, you will forever be in opposition. In fact, this election was the close call, because when Brother Holness finished his third term, you're going to see the state of Jamaica. I'm not going to report here. Considering that Jamaica will be a first world country, considering the plan that the most honorable Dr. Holness has for our country. And none like, as you can see, the fiscal discipline is maintained, more fiscal space is being freed up. So what you could do to get back in power? Nothing. Luckily, the Jamaica Labour Party came out and rubbish, utterly destroy their claim and let them know that, look, we want proper representation in terms of opposition. We don't want no propaganda hearsay. And it's just crazy. Sorry for cut it, because even them surrogate groups, Jamaica for Justice, this lady right here came out and chew her can, even though she never called a foul, but you don't know who she was referring to. Have a look. So yes, Jamaica, it is a sad state in our country to have these persons as opposition. And they're not, being an opposition. They're just being a troublemaker, mischief maker, and collecting millions of our taxpayers' money. This is crazy. Have a listen what Mr. Christopher Tufton has to say about these PNP troublemakers. Bless.
Sour grapes is how I am tempted to describe this response coming out of the elections. The facts are that they lost. The people have expressed their will to continue with this government, which we are grateful for. And what I would advise, even if it's not my place so to do, the PNP to do, is to engage in their own process of self-reflection to determine why they fell short and what they may need to do to be an effective opposition over the next term. For starters, the PNP sought to cast doubt on the electoral process by calling for an independent inquiry into the Electoral Commission of Jamaica. The reality is that after every general election, there is a process of review that is automatic almost by the representatives on the Electoral Commission and the independent members. Obviously, for those who don't know, there are representatives from both political organizations, PNP and the JLP, who are present and who are part of the governance and implementation arrangements of our electoral process supported in law. And so the PNP cannot claim a disadvantage in this regard. And if they identify weaknesses, then clearly they must also place some of that responsibility on their own members. But the process of review is normally an automatic one, as I understand it. However, to extend that, which is what I think they attempted to do, sometimes even without saying it, to suggest that that may have impacted the final results of the elections, to attempt to give an impression that somehow it may have impacted their number 2 or second place position, is, as far as we are concerned, guilty by hearsay, and that is what they're engaged in. And this is wrong, and we reject that, we condemn them for that, and we would ask them to either provide the evidence of this or cease and desist from making these wild accusations, which clearly fuels a level of speculation and anger that is not good for democracy and certainly not good for the transition that is taking place.